The first official college football 26 news is here, and there's a lot to dive into, but I also have a major problem that could haunt EA Sports with the future of the college football series. But look, after 11 years of waiting for college football 25, it was great to get back into college football, but there is plenty that we've all been asking for in the next iteration. Daryl Holt, the current senior vice president and group GM of American football games at EA Sports, dropped a bunch of insights, teases, and different info on college football 26 in an interview recently with The Athletic. Now, in that interview, there's a lot that stood out to me, but Holt was obviously trying to hold off on giving away too much info on the game. At the time of this video going live, we're only a few weeks away from the first real info going live on EA's official channels, though. What's interesting to me is that Holt wouldn't comment on specific features, but he did give a few hints here and there where he touched on the approach to college football 26 by the development team. We've got a lot of things still to come, Holt said. We release a game, we understand what's important to players and what they play and what they would like changed, improved, or added. This is a game for fans built by college fans ourselves, and we want it to be that type of relationship to understand what's important to them. If you watch any video on college football 25 and you'll look at the comments, they're literally littered with people throwing ideas for the next game. But if there's one feature that dominates the comment section, it's really been high school needing to come back to Road to Glory mode, along with kind of that mode seeing a lot more attention, if you ask me. What gives me hope that we're going to see a much more improved Road to Glory mode is the next comment from Holt. We went into it knowing there was a lot of stuff we couldn't get to in the first year, Holt said, so there's a lot of meat left on the bone. It's safe to say at this point, with the emphasis that sports games have really put on creating a singular player, upgrading them, having online experiences kind of catered around them, that EA Sports is absolutely going to spend more time on Road to Glory this year. I've covered in previous videos how EA Sports is looking to bring an open world element to both Madden and college football over the next couple of years, and while that's not going to happen for college football 26 unless there's a miracle, building Road to Glory with more depth kind of saves them considerable work from down the road. It's easy to argue that plenty of features we'd see in college football 26 should have been in last year's game. I get it, that's the easy thing to say, but the sheer amount of things that needed to be built in college football 25 had the development team make some tough choices on what could make it and could not make it in last year versus this year. And evidence of that is when I was down in Orlando, Florida last year, I got hands-on early access with the game. Ben Hallmiller, a game designer in college football 25, talked a lot about how the amount of time needed to create stadiums, players, jerseys, mascots, and other assets from scratch, it took significantly longer than they initially expected. And some of you might be saying, well, they had some of that stuff in Madden. There are some stadiums that are used in Madden and in college football, but the vast majority were made from scratch, so don't be that person. But with the vast majority of that work done now, it gives the development team the ability to focus more on what we care about, gameplay and modes. But will we see college football 26 hit systems outside of just the Xbox Series S and X and PS5? Well, Daryl Holt of EA Sports commented on that too when he was pressed about it by Chris Vanini of The Athletic. Our view as developers is that every platform is an opportunity, Holt said. We started with the PS5 and Xbox and continue that, but we'll look at other opportunities, other platforms. What can we do differently? That's always something we talk about. Now, I do want to caution you, while you might initially be thinking about the game coming to PC when hearing what Holt had to say, my brain goes a bit more towards the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is being revealed in April of 2025, and that just so happens to line up with the expected reveal timeline of college football 26. Andrew Wilson, the current CEO of EA, also stated earlier this year that the Switch 2 could provide real energy to the Madden and EA Sports FC franchises. Nintendo's platforms have almost always been the least powerful on the market in comparison to the Xbox and PlayStation offerings, so it's entirely possible that only Madden would hit the platform, since that's the one football game that is still releasing on the Xbox One and PS4 at this point in time. Still, college football fans are holding out extreme hope that the newest version is going to arrive on PC. It opens EA up to a new audience, but it also puts them in a tricky legal situation. PC players in Madden make plenty of mods to enhance the experience, edit the current rosters, and even create retro rosters, which personally we all love. And from a consumer standpoint, that's great. But EA's perspective could be that that could open them up to potential violations with the NIL agreements they have with players that have opted in to be in the game. A scenario where a major player doesn't opt into the game and then a popular mod puts him into the game and that happens to go viral across social media, that's a potential legal headache that EA likely doesn't want to jump into. And yes, I understand that EA didn't necessarily make that mod, but if they were allowing that mod to actually happen when a player specifically said, I don't want to be into this game, that's where it gets hairy. So listen, while a potential PC version could open EA up to legal battles and headaches, there's kind of a much bigger headache that EA could be dealing with thanks to a new company called Pathway Sports. Let me break down why Pathway Sports could present a major hurdle for the future of the college football series and other college sports titles right after this. Did you know that I launched a second YouTube channel? If you love Dynasty, franchise mode, and career mode content, you gotta make sure you sub. There's already close to 2,000 people that have found it and subscribed, and I haven't even really plugged it that much, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up that you can click the link in the description. You can sub to it right now. And if you're wondering about this channel, don't worry, it's not going anywhere. Great videos just like this one and so many more will still be coming, so make sure you tune in. You'll enjoy it. Pathway Sports and Entertainment was created by a group that had experience working in the NFL's Players Association and the college NIL market. Right now, Pathway is paying players $1,500 up front for the NIL rights. Their goal, well, they're trying to negotiate a licensing deal way more valuable than what those players often received, especially with EA directly last year, with the goal of trying to receive royalties for each game sold. And that might sound a little crazy to some people, but currently only the schools featured in the game receive royalties for the brand and their logos. And for comparison's sake, EA Sports signed over 11,000 players directly to be included in the game at $600 per player, along with a copy of the game. So if you do the math, well, I did it for you, that cost them about $6.6 million, not including the cost of giving them the game. But again, those are probably digital codes, which didn't really cost them much, if anything. Now, if Pathway goes out and signs 11,000 players, which is what EA had in the game last year, and they charge $2,000 per player to make a profit for themselves, again, they're paying them up front $1,500, so they charge $2,000, that's a $500 profit per player. That would cost EA $22 million. So yeah, you can kind of see why this is becoming a little bit of a problem. Now at this point, to be fair, Pathway Sports and Entertainment has just signed over 600 football players from major schools like Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon. Their goal is to get every single scholarship FBS player, so as you can imagine, that could take quite a bit of time. The interesting thing about each NIL deal that players sign with EA Sports, however, is that it lasts the entirety of the players' college careers. There is, however, an opt-out period each December if players no longer wish to be a part of that deal. Something about Pathway that's raising a lot of eyebrows, though, is that their deals currently are non-exclusive, but they become exclusive in 2026. The crazy thing, though, is that deals signed with Pathway include the right of first refusal for the players' NFL video game NIL rights. You heard me right, NFL. So as you can imagine, the NFLPA is not happy about this. It kind of creates a scenario where the NFLPA could get left out of conversations with EA Sports and the players, which means they're losing out on potential dollars per player that's signed. Again, Pathway only having 600 players right now, it's not a huge deal at the moment, even if there's major names that have signed with them. But as that list grows, or as more marquee players are out there sort of talking about signing with Pathway and the benefits of doing so, it becomes a major concern that will likely lead to plenty of legal battles in court. If I had to imagine, this is going to be impacting more so college football 27 than 26, but something to keep on your radar. What could also be cause for concern is that as December hits, if players opt out, that could put EA in a really tricky situation, so we need to make sure we're watching where this one's going. Interesting enough though, Pathway's contracts could be the solution to letting the college football series export their rosters directly to Madden so that they can be imported. But I'm hoping that EA's lawyers have spent the last 365 days trying to make this a reality without having to rely on Pathway or waiting for Pathway to potentially corner that NIL market. Because just as important as Road to Glory having high school as part of that mode is to college football fans, having the ability to export college players from college football 26 and then import them into the next version of Madden, that is a massive feature that fans grew up loving and have absolutely been missing in the most recent iteration of the game. Want more information on the release date, cover athletes, and more for College Football 26? Check out my video on the screen right now for my best educated guesses on all that info and so much more. Be safe, be smart, tell somebody you love them. Catch you guys on the next one.